What if I told you there is a reality beyond the one you know? A dimension where your thoughts shape events, your emotions command outcomes, and matter itself responds to what you feel. Most people never access this place, but it is closer than it seems. Today, you will discover how to open the door to the supernatural world, and how that door can completely transform your life. Throughout human history, spiritual masters, visionary scientists, and seekers of the unknown have affirmed that there is far more happening than our eyes can perceive. And what's curious is that all of them, across completely different cultures, point in the same direction. The mind and the body are only the surface. The supernatural begins when you learn to cross that surface. This video is a guide for that, a complete step-by-step map for those ready to go beyond. The journey toward the supernatural begins with a simple truth, often ignored by most. Thoughts are not just thoughts, they are energy. And this energy affects the body, affects the brain, affects the environment, and alters how reality organizes itself around you. Thinking is not passive. Thinking is creating. Thoughts as energy. Every thought emits an electromagnetic signal. Positive patterns strengthen the body. Negative patterns drain, block, and sicken it. When you consciously choose your thoughts, you begin to influence your physical state and the events of your life. Emotions as frequency. Emotions are vibrations. Love, joy, and gratitude, high frequencies. Fear, anger, and sadness, low frequencies. When you live in elevated states, you move closer to the field where the supernatural operates. Brain plasticity. The brain is not fixed. It rebuilds itself daily through neuroplasticity. This means you can reprogram your mind to align with the reality you want to live. The present moment is the only place where the supernatural operates. The past no longer exists. The future hasn't begun, but the now is the bridge between dimensions. When you release anxiety, urgency, and the need to control, you align with the flow where everything unfolds. There's no point in touching the quantum field if you are still trapped in the same internal narratives. I can't. I don't deserve it. This is impossible. These statements are not truths. They are programming, identifying limiting beliefs. Observe your reactions. Observe your fears. Observe the phrases you consistently repeat about yourself. Reprogramming the subconscious visualization. Affirmations, exposure to new experiences. Without new experiences, nothing changes. The supernatural demands courage. The heart has an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than the brain's. When mind and heart enter harmony, something extraordinary happens. The entire body emits a coherent energetic signature, capable of connecting directly to the supernatural field. Techniques: heart-focused breathing, deep gratitude, acts of kindness, shared elevated emotions. Coherence creates doors, and doors lead to higher realities. Manifesting is not wishing. Manifesting is embodying. You create when you visualize with clarity. Feel as if it has already happened. Release the outcome. Emotion is the catalyst. Intention is the direction. Detachment is the final trigger. The supernatural reveals itself only to those who do not try to control it. Fear is born from the past. Anxiety is born from the future. But the unknown, that is where magic happens. Facing the unknown. Act despite fear. Step out of comfort. Transform uncertainty into openness. When you embrace the unknown, reality begins to move in your favor. The more aligned you are, the more the universe responds. Synchronicities are confirmations, meaningful coincidences that show you are on the right path. They are not accidents, they are communication. Observe, interpret, follow the signs. Everything is energy: body, mind, emotions, environment. Practices such as Reiki, Qigong, pranic healing, healing visualizations allow you to channel universal life force to restore balance, health, and consciousness. Energy healing opens space for greater manifestations. This is the heart of the supernatural. Connection to higher consciousness can come through deep meditation, prayer, intuition, symbolic dreams, moments of total silence. When you open yourself to this connection, insights arise, directions appear, the path reveals itself. Access is not enough. You must integrate. Daily rituals, mindfulness, spiritual community, energetic discipline, continuous gratitude. The door is not an event. The door is a state. And when that state becomes natural to you, the supernatural stops being a mystery and becomes your way of living. In the end, there is a truth that very few have the courage to face. The reality you live today is not a destiny. It is a construction. And what you call life is not just a sequence of events, but a perfect mirror of your energy, your choices, and how much you allow yourself to access what exists beyond the visible. Most people walk through the world believing they are trapped by circumstances, by situations, by the limitations of matter. They repeat patterns, relive memories, feed old fears, and then convince themselves that there is no way out, no alternative, nothing beyond what the eyes can see. But the truth is, there is, and it has always been there. The extraordinary was never far. It was simply buried under the noise inside, the doubts, the expectations of others, and the habits you maintain without noticing. The supernatural world is not a distant place. It is not reserved for a chosen few. It does not depend on special gifts. It begins the moment you are willing to be silent enough to hear your own consciousness, and deep enough to feel what exists beyond the body, beyond time, beyond logic. There is a point within you that has never been touched by fear, never reached by limitation, never influenced by the pain of the past. This point is your portal, your bridge to the dimension where intention creates, emotion moves, and consciousness transforms. And when you reconnect with this center, everything changes. The things that once seemed impossible begin to reorganize themselves. The paths that appeared closed begin to open. The answers you searched for outside begin to rise from within. Life stops being something that happens to you and becomes something that responds to you. This is the power that emerges when fear dissolves, when the mind becomes quiet, and when the heart enters coherence. It is the power to create, to transform, to manifest, not through force, but through presence, not through control, but through surrender. And from the moment you understand that the external world is only an extension of your internal world, the supernatural stops being a mystery. It becomes a state you choose, a state you sustain, a state that, once awakened, changes everything you are and everything you are still capable of becoming.